Don't let one bad leg haunt your parlay. Parlays turn into payouts, and now even near misses won't haunt your bet. The NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is rewriting the rules with Ghost Leg, a new game-changing promotion that turns close calls into cold, hard cash. Best of all, it's available to all DraftKings customers. Here's how it works. Build any 3+ leg pregame NFL parlay on Sunday, apply your Ghost Leg token, and if one leg loses, DraftKings makes it vanish like it never existed and pays you out in cash for the rest. Last season, over 30 million parlays were lost by a single leg. This year, Ghost Leg gives those busted bets a second life. No more busted parlays that haunt you all season. With Ghost Leg, the bad leg vanishes. The payout doesn't. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PFF. That's code PFF to unlock Ghost Leg, the promotion that makes one bad leg disappear and pays you out in real cash. Ghost your losses, get your payout in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
The Los Angeles Rams and the Houston Texans. Low-scoring game, but it was a fun one. I mean, these are two of the best teams in the NFL, I think. Rams win this one 14-9 in a thrilling fashion, which is how they were able to put the game away. For the Rams, I think the question mark going into this offseason was always, if Stafford's healthy, I mean, this is still one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL. That proved to be the case for Stafford.
They look pretty healthy.
They were fantastic. The top 5 graded players that we have for the Los Angeles Rams, wide receiver Puka Nacua. Dude.
Every week.
We're at the point where I'm gonna talk about this a little bit more in a second, but he is so damn good. He is so good.
He did this
always open.
He did this with a gash in his forehead too. Has to come out with a giant bandage on his forehead.
Warrior.
It doesn't matter. Absolutely.
91.6 overall grade in this one. Linebacker Nate Landman with the peanut punch of maybe the season, and how he was able to punch the ball out from Dare Obungawale and get that ball back for the Rams. 90.7 overall grade for him. Edge rusher Jared Verse picking up right where he left off last season. 90.6. Somebody who I think either him or the guy that we're about to talk about is going to win defensive player of the year. I really do. I think it's going to be those two guys. Edge rusher Byron Young with a 78.5, wide receiver Devontae Adams with a 66.3, and then quarterback Matthew Stafford an elite 92.9 to start the season. The other guy, the guy that I did pick for defensive player of the year, he's number 1 on this list for the Texans. Will Anderson Jr., a 91.0 grade to start the season. His running mate, Danielle Hunter, fellow edge rusher, 86.0. Linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair with an 80.8. Cade Stover, their tight end, with a 70.9. And the defensive tackle, Tim Settle, with a 67.7. Quarterback C.J. Stroud in this game, a 73.1. Dalton, where are we going to start the conversation here?
Well, as we figured it might, this game was about pressure and two teams that struggle to pass protect. The Rams had the 3rd worst pass blocking grade in the league last year. The Texans we projected to have the worst offensive line in the league this year. And both of those things lived up to expectations in this game, and you saw it from all those great pass rushers in those top 5s. The Rams, a 33.3 pass pro grade in this game. The Texans, a 41.2. This game was about, it was low scoring 14-9. There were exciting moments in it, but it was really about just quarterbacks under duress all day and the answers that these quarterbacks brought to that pressure. Matthew Stafford, average time to throw, 2.33 seconds. Got the ball out quick. He's the wily veteran, right? He's been around since 2009. He's been doing this for a long time. He knows how to handle pressure. If your line can't protect you, protect yourself. C.J. Stroud, took him a little longer, 2.78 seconds. Clean pocket passing grade, so even when you get your opportunities, when you are protected, can you take advantage? The guy who took advantage of this game was Matthew Stafford in clean pockets. Matt Stafford, 94.4 passing grade. He's still, when he's protected, one of the best quarterbacks in football. C.J. Stroud with a 70 passing grade in a clean pocket. Just didn't have as many answers in Houston's offense for the pressure, the constant pressure that was coming their way. And that's going to be a theme in Houston. It could be a theme for both of these teams. Obviously, neither one of them is hoping for that, but certainly in Houston, it's a big concern. And to the point where I even think Sean McVay did the better job in this game of at times protecting Stafford from pressure as a play caller. I don't think there's any better example than the very last play that they ran on offense. It was a 3rd and 8. They're trying to get one more first down to ice the game. And, it's a thing where, okay, you could run the ball and make Houston, burn their last time out and then just play defense. You've been rushing, but you don't want to give Stroud that shot, right? So what does he do? He gets under center. It's not an obvious pass set. He gets under center. He's got a tight end and a fullback on the field, and he calls a bootleg. And he sneaks Nacua, I believe it was, back underneath the formation.
Yep.
And they get the first down after the catch, right? And what you didn't have to do was put Stafford in one of those drop back situations where Anderson and Hunter know it's coming, right? You get under center. That's really a big advantage of playing under center so often. I think the Rams did it more often in this game. It's just about having answers for pressure in a game. And yes, it's 14-9. Offensively, everything was ugly. But the Rams had more answers for it. And Stafford, you could tell, he's the guy who's in the league now for his, 17th season. Whereas C.J. Stroud is in his 3rd year in his first game with a new offensive coordinator. Different answers for pressure. Stafford had just a few more of them.
Yeah, and to be honest, that last play, for as much as it was about McVay and Stafford, to me, it was mostly Nacua. It really was, because if you watch that play, they've got Nacua close to the line of scrimmage, so you don't know where he's going to go. He's sort of got a two-way go that you can operate with. I believe it was Jalen Petrie who's on him in single coverage, and the second that he gets up to Petrie, he closes the cushion on him, and the second he gets up to him, I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly in my head, Petrie goes to get hands on him, goes to press him because they're within the 5-yard contact window, and Petrie wants to be physical with you because he wants to get up, he wants to get his hands on you, he wants to make contact because then he can stay hip to hip with you, and he knows that he's got him at that point. His hands go out, and Nacua just goes, whoop, nope, sidesteps it, 2-hand swipe, that's all you need. He goes to the sideline, there's the throwing window. So as much as it was, you got to give him credit of the play calling and what Stafford was able to do under pressure and how he was able to complete the pass, to throw on the run. Nacua is the guy.
Yeah.
Like Nacua makes that play. And we have to start talking about, he was, I think, wide receiver 6 for me when I was doing the wide receiver rankings heading into the season because of how great he has been over the last 2 years. Genuinely, I think we have to put Nacua in the wide receiver 1 conversation. Like, his numbers, in my opinion, back that up.
The efficiency is ridiculous.
Now, is he as athletically talented as a couple of these other guys that we would talk about at the very top? A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson? No. But the job of a wide receiver is what? Get open, catch the football. He does it as good as any wide receiver in the NFL. Any wide receiver in the NFL. He may have to win more with savviness, quickness, and just anticipation mentally, but he does. He does that. What he had in this game, 11 targets, 10 catches, $130, 92.3 receiving grade. He has more single game receiving grades above 90 than he does below 60 in his career. I want everybody to know this and remember this. A PFF grade, the way that things work, it's a little different because if you think about it just like school, you think like, oh, 60s, 50s, horrendous, absolutely terrible. If you just have a base even game, you're going to grade somewhere around a 60. Like, it's right around the 60. It's not a 75 like a C is. I think a lot of people think like a C, oh, that's average. So like 75 is average. That's not how it works with our grading system. 60 is basically just like, yep, you were out there. You were replaceable. You didn't ruin the game. You didn't make a big difference. 60 is just sort of like you're playing the game. That's an average type of player and an average type of performance. Nacua has had more elite 90-plus single game grades than he has had below average performances in the NFL through 2 years in one game. Nuts. That's nuts. He's unbelievable. They drafted an absolute gem. For him to go to that spot with that head coach, that quarterback, and to be honest, that mentor of Cooper Kupp, teaching him the ways when he was a rookie, they have one of the best receivers in the NFL.
And he now plays the same role that Kupp does, where literally, what's Puka Nacua's role? It's everything. right? He's motioning all over the place. He can be underneath the formation. He can run it short. He's not often on those go balls and vertical things too much, but he's a first down machine. Like you mentioned, he understands coverages. And look, he's tough as nails.
Oh, yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Yes.
Even in this game, he leaves. I don't know if he had to get stitches or not, or they just patched him up or whatever, but he comes back with this giant patch
He just
on
took
his
a stapler to his head.
Probably, and he probably liked it. Honestly, that's how tough he is. I mean, jeez, it's one of those things where he's just so darn tough, and you can ask him to make any play, whether it's after the catch or any catch over the middle of the field, and high vol. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if he gets 20 targets in a day. Okay,
he wants 20 targets in a day.
That's what I'm saying. That's business. That's just what we do around here. And the fact that it's so hard to defend a guy like that, that's all over the place. When you also still have maybe a future Hall of Famer in Devontae Adams, anytime you want to get in man-to-man and follow Nacua,
right?
Well, you got Devontae Adams sitting right out here, too. That's why they signed him, because he can still win one-on-one. If Stafford's healthy and they can protect him a little more often in this game, a lot of teams are going to be like this against Houston. That's as good an offense as any in football, especially because Nacua is right at the core of it. He plays all 17 games. I think with the target share and all the ability that he has, you talk about a guy with Offensive Player of the Year potential.
Yes.
Because we talked about his efficiency a lot. He was the highest graded receiver in football last year. He just missed a few games. So, no, he's ridiculous. And Matt Stafford was absolutely ridiculous. I believe 5 big-time throws in this game total for Stafford. Just nuts the way he can still throw the ball.
Nacua is plus 1,600 on DraftKings for Offensive Player of the Year. He has the same odds as Justin Jefferson.
You making suggestions right now?
No, I'm just telling people. I'm just reporting.
Good report.
I'm just a mere reporter.
Fair and accurate.
Most disappointing in this game for me is the Texans' offensive line. Look, you made your bed. Now you got to lie in it. You might have made the decision for the right reasons, moving on from Laramie Tunsil. Perhaps that in the long run is going to be the best thing for the Texans organization. We told you it probably wasn't going to be in the short term, and this offensive line is not good. 7 snaps in this game with a time to pressure quicker than 2 seconds. You don't even have the ball. You don't even have the time to throw the ball away, basically, in under 2 seconds. When you lose that quickly, you're basically just giving up a sack. You're hoping that it's not a fumble. You're hoping that it's not a turnover-worthy play at that point. And if you are getting pressured below 2 seconds, you're almost thinking a sack might be the best case scenario for you. They had 7 plays where that was the case. The only team that had more was the Tennessee Titans, which we'll get to in a second. But it was not a good performance for the Texans offensive line overall. They're still trying to figure out who their best 5 is. And it sucks because, again, the reported reasons why they moved on from Laramie Tunsil were they didn't love maybe the leadership or role model example maybe he was setting for some of the younger offensive linemen and work habits. I don't know. It's just these are the things that I read that were reported. So you trade the only guy on your offensive line who really had any semblance of success over the last couple of years, specifically last year, and now we're sitting here with C.J. Stroud and we go, well, might be a waste of a year because we can't block for him. Because if they have a bottom 5 offensive line in the NFL, I think they can still somehow make the playoffs and win that division. But I think the Texans should be clearly the best team in that division. And with the offensive line the way that it is, I cannot confidently.
I mean, that's
that.
the thing. They are maybe Daniel Jones putting up an argument. I'm kidding. They have the best quarterback in the division. They're the most talented team in that division.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to win ball games. And there's so many great defensive linemen in the NFL now that almost every single team has at least one. Even if you play a team, whatever, like the Cleveland Browns, and they have Myles Garrett. Or next week, you're playing Tampa Bay next week. Who in their interior is blocking Vita Vea? Even a problem like that. It's not like they can run the ball either, right? I mean, this Houston team, this is the problem. You project them, you look at the names on their roster, the edge players, the corners, the quarterback, Nico Collins, everything. And then you look at this offensive line, and it's bad enough to shut down the whole operation to where you have this great team that played a great defensive game for the most part. Mm-hmm. They scored 9 points. Mm-hmm. And, next week you get Todd Bowles and all the blitz packages. Then you get Josh Hines Allen in the Jaguars. Then you get the Titans who got a developing it's every week. You have to block somebody every week.
I mean, if you hold Stafford to 14 points, you should win that game.
Sure.
You should absolutely win that game if you hold Matthew Stafford to 14 points.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. I think were they one of just 2 teams this week that didn't score a touchdown? I think that's correct. The Giants also didn't score. They're one of 2 teams this week, I think, that didn't score a touchdown.
O-line.
I mean,
root of the issues.
That's
for both
all.
Teams.
If you can't block people, you can't win.
Who's your most disappointing?
Most disappointing. Did I have the Texans O-line written down?
No,
they're gonna. They're gonna have Nico. It's Nico Collins, but also, I mean, it's tough.
You need
a center. You want to center the passing game around Nico Collins.
But it sucks because the Rams had the same issue, right? They couldn't pass protect worth a damn. Nacua goes off.
Yeah.
So like that, and obviously McVay is who he is, and we talk about McVay the way that we do as an offensive play designer and a head coach for a reason. But I agree with you having Nico Collins on here. Maybe it's not a Nico Collins thing. It's just what's most disappointing is the Nico Collins idea, because you look on the other side and the Rams' offensive line wasn't much better than yours, and they still got Nacua the ball.
Yeah.
So it's
tough.
I knew we'd have that part of
the irony
too.
of it being Nick Caley calling the plays for the Texans, who was with the Rams last year, and now he's over in Houston. I mean, it's tough. The Texans, we're going to be talking about our previews of Houston games are going to get really boring because we're probably going to talk about the same thing every single week.
Yeah.